So for this scenario, the Germans get 6 cards, and they can issue up to 4 orders, and the Russian gets 4 cards, and he can issue up to 3 orders. One option that you have is to discard up to your nationality's allowable discard limit, which is on this card here, if you look on the top right. So if it's your turn and you're the Russian player and you don't have any cards that you can use, or decide that your hand isn't what you want, you can discard up to 3 cards and draw 3 cards right back up, and that's your full turn. The Germans can do up to 6. They can discard 6 cards and try to get the right hand for them. They can discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, discard, redraw, and then that's their entire turn, and the turn marker. The turn moves over to the Russians. Or you can issue an order. So you've got different types of orders, which are listed on your command card here. And the second part of each card is the action. And then these events down here happen as events are triggered in the game. As you do fire back and forth, you're doing die roll draws, you'll see something that happens called an event. When an event happens, you draw another card and you read the event that happens down here, and that's the effect that it has on the game. You'll also notice on the bottom right are the dice. Those are added on to attacks and defenses. And then on the bottom left is the hex for a random hex scenario. So if you draw a sniper, which this is a sniper, you would draw another card, and the next card would indicate where that sniper would hit. If it's the opponent's unit, something happens to them. If it's your unit, you can disregard. For the most part, if the text of the card overrides the game, then you follow the rules of the card. One thing that will happen is that, for example, if you have an event happens that says suppress one unit that is not in one cover, if the enemy does not have a unit that's not in cover that can't be suppressed by that card, you have to select one of your own units. So it can work kind of reverse on you at times. So the different types of commands. First would be the fire. Well, let's talk about movement first. So we can activate a single unit with a movement card, and once that unit's activated, he can do nothing else that turn. We can activate a leader, and he can activate all the units within his command radius, which is the hexagon right here. That 1 in there indicates that all the units within 1 hex can be activated. So we can activate him and do the individual movement ratings for each one of these units and move those forward, slowing down for terrain because that costs additional movement points. And you want to try to keep your units together within that command radius. If you decide to start moving across and separate everybody, if you got with say 2 hexes apart from the leader, you wouldn't be within this command radius for his next turn. You could switch him over to another leader if you wanted. Another action you can do, or order, is fire. So you can activate these units here using this leader, which has a 1 hex radius, to fire without moving on any unit that's within range or line of sight. So we've got a unit here inside this building that we could fire at. He's got a +3 cover because he's in a building, and you could activate that leader. All those units you can fire individually. This unit plus this rifle unit here with the heavy MG, or you could do a group fire. Group fire adds +1 to the attack. So if you have this guy firing with an 8 and doing 9 with him, you could add this machine gun here for a 1 and add him to the attack, or you could fire separately with him. And that would be that unit's activation for that turn. You could do a route, which does a route check on some of your the opponent's pieces or your pieces. You kind of select. You have and a route is good sometimes if you're trying to get out of a sticky situation. If you're in the middle of the field, you don't have a move card, and you're trying to get him back into a building that's behind him. You can use that as a kind of a force back thing. A recover card lets you recover a unit that's been damaged, or try to attempt to recover it. And then there's Command Confusion, which is basically a dud card. But sometimes the actions on those cards are useful to keep around. So if you get a lot of Command Confusions, it could be tough because you can't do any orders, but the actions can also help you. There's an action for concealment here, action for dig in, action for ambush. Ambushes are really hard to get and good to have. spray fire. So you either do the order or the action with that card. And again, the Germans can do up to 4 orders. After they do their 4, they do their turn and then they draw back up. The Russians can do 3 orders, and that would be their turn. That's it. That's it for basic card play.